Okay, so I've spun back around. Hopefully this light is good enough you can see what's happening with it. But I've done a lot of experimentation with this thing. Oh, here is the sleeve. Good. This sleeve comes off. One of the things I wanted to try was to make sure that when, this one. Make sure that when this lever here, it's auto shut off, that when it did this, that it wasn't exerting so much force that it was, actually stopping the motor. That's the motor right here. Right here. And then it's driving this capstan down below. And there's no sign of any kind of belt slipping or anything like that that you would assume might be a problem if that were the case. There's none of that going on. I have sorry, I'm just going to put this back under here. I have a set of spare parts that includes all of these wheels and this little rubber band here. All these parts, none of them appear to be overly worn, and here it is. So I've got a whole separate bag of these parts, and this wheel and this one look identically the same. I have to find this little guy here and make sure he didn't get stripped out. It's a little kind of a geared plastic wheel, although it seems like the plastic parts and the rubber parts have held up pretty well. Even the extra, this is one of the things I'm talking about. This is the one on the back that I'm talking about that is only partway there, and I'll show you what it does in a second. This one, I think, it is hard to tell where some of these cams went. That might be this one up here, but this one doesn't have a screw on mine. And I did find an extra screw sitting around. And then I have to even figure out where this one goes. I think that might be the one that's behind here. You see it's got that same screw there. I think that might be this one. And I will, take some of this apart to look and see. I bought a set of these too online, just because I didn't feel like I had punished myself enough yet messing with this. But what happens is there are two sets of gears on this shaft, or two sets of knurls, and depending on where you've got this lever set, for fast forward or for play, it sits here, right? And it's basically driving it a little bit faster or a little bit slower. And then this side happens here if you go into reverse. This comes down here and drives this. Okay. If you go into fast forward, this comes up here and drives this. But the thing that is missing on the back, that cam, right here is this pivot point. And what happens is when, don't do this at home, kids, because this is dangerous. When that cam is on there, it looks like what happens is when you lift this wheel, when you turn this lever, it lifts this wheel out and brings it to a different point here. So all that seems to affect is to make fast forward faster. It does not seem to be tied to play. And again, there's an auto shut off here. If you have the thing turned on, it will automatically go up here and shut off, and then you have to turn this on. According to the manual, this is entirely optional as part of the signal path. It doesn't turn on the capstan motor the way it does in a lot of my later machines. So just use this thing or don't use this thing as you will. There is another feature on this, I don't have it here, on this machine, which is interesting. There's a little bit of a roller over here that seems to be attached to nothing. But also there is a brake right here in this wheel that when you turn the fast forward lever, it hits this switch here, which I don't know what that does. It's soldered on, and it disengages the brake here at the same time. When you have this on here, there's a solid, I mean, I can't pull that brake off, but when I do this, I can. And the part of the problem that I've been having with it going into play is that it feels almost like there's an unstoppable brake going here, but this slips by itself because of this friction pad here so much that it doesn't feel like that's the problem. And even when I have disengaged that brake and then put it into play, that doesn't seem to have an effect. But I'm looking, while I've got it apart again, I'm going to take a look at it and see if I can't find some other brake that might be engaging. What makes it really, really frustrating, again, is that because of the complex way the power is hooked up, I really kind of want to be able to power it and work on it here, like this, so that I can actually, you know, play with these levers from the back and the forward at the same time and get that to work, but I don't seem to be able to make that reach happen. So I'm gonna try some rejiggering here and some new logistics and see if I can't hook it back up and play it some more now that I've reattached these to where I think they need to go, and see if I make any progress. But that's what I know right now.